This is ricin. As you can see, Cleveland's water supply is over there. If we pour it in there, it'll kill a lot of Americans.
Thank you, Obama, for leaving your southern borders open so ISIS can terrorize America. ISIS thanks you, President Obama. We claim this land for Sharia law.
Hi, I'm Dr. Group. Today, I'm proud and excited to announce a new product to the INFOWARS Life product line. Introducing the first proprietary oxygen-based intestinal cleanser, OxyPowder. Backed by real FDA-approved phase 1, 2, and 3 clinical trials. People are suffering from all kinds of digestive issues these days. All the toxins from the air, the food, the water, everything that you're exposed to on a daily basis ultimately ends up in the gut or affects the gut. My main focus was to come up with a remedy for this, something that's safe and effective that anyone can take on a regular basis to keep their intestinal lining clean. You have over 30 feet of intestinal lining that can be compacted, that can be toxic, that can be full of parasites, fungus, bacteria. What are you doing to keep that clean and flushed out? My recommendation is to clean your intestines at least 2 to 3 times a week to prevent the toxic buildup from going into your bloodstream. You owe it to yourself to take your health into your own hands and start cleansing your body today with OxyPowder. Secure your OxyPowder today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there. And I know this for a fact. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen.
For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off Super Detox Special at InfoWarsLife.com.
Welcome back. Now, there's more news about Ebola and about possible vaccines. And of course, as we look at this, we need to keep asking ourselves, is this a biological false flag? Is it a naturally occurring catastrophe that is being used by the government in a sinister way to increase power over our lives? Or is this maybe something that is going to be used to fatten the profits of pharmaceutical companies? This vaccine is coming out of the UK, and as it's reported by Sky News, they say the vaccine is made from a harmless chimpanzee virus that has been genetically modified to carry a benign payload of Ebola DNA. Now, if that doesn't concern you, that oxymoron of a harmless simian virus that's been genetically modified, listen to the rest of this. Trial monkeys have been shown that the vaccine is 100% effective in the first month, with some protection remaining 10 months later. So, of course, you would have to get it every few months. You'd have to get a booster shot. And they're also saying that they're not going to be able to get enough of these doses out in order to save the number of people. They said there's going to be tens of thousands of people who are still going to die from this Ebola vaccine, from this Ebola plague. Now, of course, this is different from the ZMapp virus vaccine that came out of the United States that they gave to the infected doctors that were brought back in the United States. That is a genetically modified plantibodies that are injected into the patient. It doesn't give you a weakened or different strain of the Ebola virus. What it does is it actually gives you antibodies that immediately start fighting the virus. Now, of course, with any vaccine, the real proof is whether or not it's not only effective, but is it safe? Is it really going to work? Well, the people that they're starting to do these tests on today, about 60 volunteers, will those people be okay after they take it? And will they have the courage, or how will they know if this is really going to work? Will they expose them to people who actually have the Ebola virus? So that's the effective part. Now, there is a huge black market that has developed for the blood of Ebola patients who have survived. This is being reported by CNN Health. They say, as hospitals and nations hardest hit by Ebola struggle to keep up, desperate patients are turning to the black market to buy blood from survivors. That's a report from the World Health Organization. They say that blood from survivors is referred to as convalescent serum. It's said to have antibodies that can fight the deadly virus. It's unproven, and it has provided some promise in fighting a disease with no approved drug to treat it. So here's the effective part that CNN asks about. They say, well, of course, it's not known whether or not these antibodies in the plasma of survivors is actually going to work or not. Is it sufficient to protect against the disease? So that's the effective part of the treatment. And so how safe is it? They say the illicit trade can lead to the spread of other infections, including HIV and other blood-related ailments. So does this strike you as something kind of scary or crazy? I mean, would you buy blood off the black market that supposedly came from an Ebola survivor and inject that into your body? That's essentially the same thing that Big Pharma is asking you to do with vaccines. And of course, just as you don't know what else might be in that blood, you don't know what else might be in that vaccine. We have an update on this autism vaccine whistleblower from the CDC today. We have a video that's been posted on the Autism Media Channel, YouTube, and the Age of Autism. This is William Thompson, the CDC whistleblower's phone call recording as he was talking to Dr. Brian Hooker. And he said some very amazing things. He said the CDC has put the autism research 10 years behind. He also says, I have a boss who is asking me to lie. Now, of course, that boss is the head of the CDC's vaccine safety. And he was one of the persons on the study that was essentially they covered up the data, they lied about it for 10 years, they hid that from people for 10 years. Finally, as he's talking to Dr. Hooker, he says, I can no longer lie. Now, John Rappaport says in this story, he says, the scum of mainstream media are refusing to cover this story, and they are accomplices. He points out that the Department of Justice is also an accomplice to this, as they have been, of course, to many scandals, to much illegal activity within this administration. John Rappaport writes that the Department of Justice, who surely know about Thompson, are refusing to investigate, arrest, and prosecute CDC bosses and researchers. Therefore, they too are accomplices to a great ongoing crime. And as we pointed out here before, CNN's response was to essentially attack the people who were blowing the whistle, as we see happened again with Snowden and every other whistleblower. They go after the person who is exposing the criminal activity instead of going after the people who actually commit the crime. And of course, they say, we have many studies that show that there is no connection between autism and vaccines. In other words, this one is an outlier. Is it really an outlier? If they lied about this study, if they covered it up for 10 years, can we trust the other stories? Well, the question is, can you even trust what's in your toothpaste? We have a story coming out of Phoenix. We have a dental hygienist there who noticed some unusual things in people's teeth. They say a dental discovery may prompt you to change your toothpaste. They had a dental hygienist who noticed that many of the people that she was treating had some little blue dots that were trapped in the tiny spaces between people's teeth and gums. She said she'd see 5 or 6 patients a week. She said she talked to other dental hygienists. They were seeing the same sort of thing. It took them a while, but they finally figured out that it was polyethylene, a plastic that is used in all kinds of things like garbage containers, grocery bags, bulletproof vests, even knee replacements. Now they put it in your toothpaste. They say pretty much everyone that they talked to that had these blue dots were using some form of Crest toothpaste. So they put this out on social media, and now Crest has gotten the message. They say that the majority of their toothpaste is going to be free from these blue microbeads within 6 months. very similar to what happened with Subway and the substance that they were putting in their bread, which is also in rubber mats. So we see this type of thing coming. Now, it actually does have a harmful effect, a potential harmful effect for you. A dentist, Justin Phillips, said that they trap bacteria in the gums, which leads to gingivitis. And over time, that infection moves from the gum into the bone that holds your teeth, and that becomes periodontal disease. So there are real consequences to this. And just like our toothpaste, just like our bread, we don't always know what's in our vaccines or the black market blood that you pick up to protect you from Ebola. Stay with us. We're going to be right back about what may be in your phone with the new release of iOS 8.
Celebrate the spirit of freedom and liberty upon which our nation was founded at InfoWarsShop.com. Molon Lave is ancient Greek for come and take it. This popular design combines both classic Greek Spartan imagery with modern M16 assault rifles. Now available in women's tees and proudly made in the USA. Celebrate the spirit of 1776 with the George Washington brass belt buckle or this incredibly sharp-looking 1776 hat. Badass. And be sure to check out the new arrivals at InfoWars Life, where you can prepare your body to perform at peak levels with Survival Shield Nascent Iodine, Super Male Vitality, and Fluoride Shield. And wake up, America. Immune Support Blend is the healthy choice for the gourmet coffee lover. So get incredibly high-quality, freedom-based products and help fund the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com.
City of Austin tap water versus filtered City of Austin tap water.
I can taste dirt in it.
God knows what's in this.
This has an aftertaste.
Tastes like Austin water? Yeah, it does. Ugh.
These people just sampled City of Austin tap water straight from the faucet. Next, we had them try a sample of tap water filtered through the ProPure G2.0 filtration system.
High quality H2O.
That one is better.
Tastes like nothing.
Yep, I know what good water tastes like. It's good water.
Most tap water contains added substances like fluoride, chlorine, Monsanto's deadly pesticide, glyphosate, and many others. Studies prove that these substances are linked to an assortment of major health issues, including tooth decay, lowered IQ, and even cancer.
It tastes like you're drinking out of the lake when you're drinking tap water.
Yeah, it has that processed flavor to it.
The ProPure G2.0 filtration system removes these deadly substances and many more, leaving only fresh-tasting, deliciously clean water.
Okay, this is very tasty.
It's good water.
Refreshing.
It's good.
Go to InfoWarsStore.com today. Use promo code WATER and save 10% off your ProPure purchase. Again, that's InfoWarsStore.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
Now, with the Snowden leaks and what people have learned about how their phones are spying on them, consumers and businesses are demanding privacy. Apple got that message loud and clear, especially when there was a leak of data from iCloud. Now they're telling us that iOS 8 is going to be the solution to privacy. Here's Leanne McAdoo's report.
Apple has announced that they will no longer unlock most phones or iPads for police, even with a search warrant. Rather than comply with binding court orders, Apple has reworked its latest encryption in a way that prevents the company or anyone but the device's owner from gaining access to user data that's typically stored on phones or tablets. With this latest upgrade, Apple will no longer be able to bypass your passcode, making it technically impossible for them to respond to government warrants. But not so fast. This all amounts to little more than Apple realizing that they're losing money by alienating customers who think that they've been all too willing to hand over their private data to the government. With the iOS 8, Apple absolves itself of any outright spying compliance by appearing to offer more rigorous security. If you're a person who's concerned about privacy, you'll buy their product and not the competitors, right? Your user data can still be accessed. Most people already back up their phones to iCloud. Apple will still have the ability and the legal responsibility to turn over user data that's stored elsewhere, such as in its iCloud service. Users who want to prevent all forms of police access to their information will have to adjust settings in a way that blocks data from flowing to iCloud. But even that is not enough to stop the feds from accessing your private data. Rogue cell phone towers that have been popping up all over the country are already being used to claim